Ding dong, bing bong. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Sober. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm actually recording this live from the new studio. Like, this is me in headphones. Super trippy. This is my first time doing a completely solo podcast. I'm so thankful to be where I'm at. I'm so thankful to be able to produce not just a message, but a series of deliverables that people can connect with. If you're brand new here, I'm an ex-alcoholic, liver failure survivor. I look like Pauly Shore, although I am not. Someone the other day, I was at a function, and they're like, "You look familiar." I'm like, "Yeah, I get that like daily." People stop me in different states and go like, "You remind me of that guy." Yeah, people have been saying I look like Pauly Shore since I was a little girl. Right. With that said, welcome to another episode of Beyond Sober. There is so many questions. I'm starting to notice this massive shift in what we would call the sobriety community. That word is just triggering. It's just triggering now. And I teach trigger proofing your mind. I have a program called Unlabeled, and we're not supposed to not be triggered. Our triggers are basic signals for what matters to us. In reality, nothing matters except for what we make matter. In this case, what I'm making matter is the delusion of sobriety, right? The delusion of doing sober. Sober isn't something that you do. Sobriety isn't something that you're in. I can't even tell you how insanely frustrating it is to be scrolling numerous social platforms and see people say, "I'm X amount of days in sobriety. It's been my sobriety journey." Oh my God. I love that for you. If you're struggling with sobriety, mental health, physical health, psychological health, energetic health, I get it. But here is something that is so important that nobody's talking about. And if they were, we'd probably be homies. Sobriety isn't real. It's not a place. It's not a destination. It's not a land. It's not a country. It's not even a concept. Sobriety is not something that you do. The misconception and the confusion is coming from people thinking that sobriety is doing something in the same way that drinking and partying and imbibing toxicity was doing something. When you physically pick up a drink, you're doing something. When you are putting toxins in your brain and body, I don't care if it's a burrito or it's an unhealthy thought. If you're listening to the news or you are taking a shot, dude, that is doing something, right? That's considered toxic. That's toxic behavior. Doesn't matter how you got there. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Doesn't matter what you think. The point is that we're practicing this toxic behavior and we don't want to anymore. Okay. What is the absence of the toxic behavior? Okay. What is sober in general? Do you know? Are you sure? I've released nearly 8,000 videos, man. And over the past 5 years, people have yet to even answer what sober is. And I'm starting to believe that people just really don't know. They don't know what it is. And when we understand what sober actually is, you'll probably stop going, "I'm in sobriety." Dude, sober isn't church. Sobriety is not a building. It is not AA. I'm not going into sobriety. Imagine if a building was called Sobriety. That would make sense. If it was an actual physical location that you went into, yeah, I'm going into sobriety today. Kind of like you're going into the third period. That would make sense, but it is not real. Okay. Here's the clinical definition. Look it up. Google it. GPT it. I don't care. The definition of sober is not under the influence of alcohol, not fucking drunk. Not drunk. Are you drunk right now? No. That's amazing. Guess what you are? Sober. You're not in sobriety. The absence of toxicity isn't in a building. The absence of not poisoning yourself or the absence of poisoning yourself is not being inside something else, okay? You got to remember, you stepped into a toxic lifestyle. It could have been the trauma. It could have been the poison that led you to another drink or another pill or another relationship. That is something you stepped into. Stepping out of that doesn't mean you're actually in anything else, especially if the anything else I'm referring to doesn't actually have your attention. The reason this is so important is because sobriety, that word, sober in general, is becoming a trend. Okay. I'm like so anti-trend, dude. Like, I could care less about what you're doing, what your mom's doing, what your cousins are up to. I don't care who's going viral, man. Dope shit is dope shit. I'll watch it, even if it's not going viral, man. Good stuff is good stuff. But the word sober is trending. And there's a lot, and it's not trending for the reasons that you might think. It's not like, oh my God, the Gen Z, everybody's getting sober. That's not what it is. Granted, drinking is down. There's a lot of people talking about it. Drinking is down, and it's not necessarily for the reasons that you would expect either. Do you want to know why drinking is down primarily? Do you think it's because, oh my God, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're just so health conscious? Okay, well, we've got the 6 and the 9-year-old. They are very health conscious, okay? We're unique in that sense. We talk about alcohol and substances and behaviors literally every single day. Since I've met them, it's been a conversation piece. These are kids that are very conscious about who they're hanging out with, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, what they're eating, what they're watching, and what they're consuming. That's considered health conscious, and that's a reflection of the environment. With that said, Gen Z and A literally can't afford to party, man. I'm a millennial. I'm 40, dude. I died at 32. My heart stopped, liver failed. I never thought that I was going to make it to 33. Remember, the doctors only gave me 7 days to live, bro. Dude, your heart stopped. You're in ICU. You literally can't even make your own decisions. You've given all of your rights away to power of attorney. Someone else has to communicate on your behalf, dude. You don't even know where you are. You're dying, bro. So for me to even like consider the idea that I'm 40 years old, that's crazy. Because inside, I swear to God, I'm still 12. I started partying when I was 8 years old, dude. There's a whole kid in here that is actively attempting to express himself every single day. That's why I do ninja shit. That's why I do flips, and that's why I'm working out and taking care of myself, creating content. Literally, it's just me in the studio right now. I'm just hanging out with myself. I got 2 cameras on me. I set them all up. My ADHD's on fuego. New iPad just showed up right here, dude. Like all I'm doing is the outward expression of what I call life. With that said, Gen Z, Gen A, they're growing up in some of the most detrimental times in American history, dude. You literally can't afford to party, which is a totally interesting thing because this is absolutely true. Okay, I'm technically white trash, the trailer park type stuff, dude. I mean, broke is a joke. Like money and quality, not something that I was raised with. We made the best of everything. I have very humble beginnings, dude. I've even been homeless, dead on drugs, in jail, all this stuff, dude. But where I'm going with this is when you don't have what we would call abundance, when you're not financially sound, when you are struggling, one of the main driving forces is survival. And it comes from a place of fear. Coincidentally, addiction is rooted in safety. We want to feel safe. We want to feel like we can get through the thought, get through the day. We just want to get into the next. I don't care what it takes. I actually don't mind hurting myself or poisoning myself or consuming a toxin if it guarantees that I'll make it to the next day. Even though I'm dreading the day ahead, I'd rather dread it from a place of numb and not caring than to face it full force and have to accept my realities that life, quote unquote, sucks. So when people don't have money, they actually buy more expensive alcohol. What? Yeah, dude. Yeah, you know this. And the reason for that is alcohol becomes a luxury. There's a reason why when we're watching movies, they raid the liquor stores. There's a reason why in like Armageddon type films, like post-apocalyptic, one of the greatest commodities is liquor. Nobody wants to go through life sober, okay? And especially in a rough time like that. But people make their lives feel like Armageddon every single day. And they do that in their brain, in their body. They do that in their environment, obviously what they're eating, what they're not eating, all of the things. So when we look at the decrease in alcohol intake, bravo. That's amazing. That's amazing. If we can capitalize on that and continue educating and informing newer generations about the health benefits of taking care of themselves or casually consuming toxins like alcohol, then dude, we're doing it right. But here's what's crazy, man. This is going to be a slingshot because as soon as the economy gets back, as soon as things start looking better, as soon as people start feeling better, they are going to overconsume in the same way that they were attempting to survive. So here's what's crazy. Now that you got money, now that the economy is growing, now that you can afford the expensive stuff, you don't necessarily want the expensive stuff. You want a lot of the inexpensive stuff. That's how they get you. The $10 bottle of vodka that I was buying every single day outside Walgreens was the one that got me. It wasn't the Belvedere. It wasn't my preferred drink of champagne. It wasn't a mixed drink. It wasn't my beers. It wasn't my Corona and lime. It definitely wasn't my Blue Moons and an orange. It was the cheapest, most inexpensive, most accessible bottle of vodka I could possibly get. And you'd be surprised at how many people say it was the vodka, dude. It is... oh my goodness. You know what I'm talking about. It mixes with everything and it's equally damaging to everybody. And that's the crazy part is people don't really truly understand and more importantly, don't care about their health in the ways that that's applicable to living a life that we love. The trippy part about life in general, that word life, is we kind of chalk it up to the addition of all things, the sum of all things around us. And what I learned through building businesses in social media platforms, if you're unaware, across all my social platforms, I have nearly 1 million followers, which is amazing. I don't even like that word followers, dude. I like to say I got nearly 1 million people have decided to support me. And not even me, just support the message, right? They want to hear more of it, and I continue showing up. As I mentioned earlier, I've dropped nearly 8,000 videos, all related to sobriety and recovery. Alcohol is my primary, we're going to say, topic, but I've recently just got back from Italy teaching an emotional addiction workshop. And we'll be in Greece next year, right? Roughly the same time. So about a year from now, a year from you hearing this, Antonella, we'll be in Greece and I'll be teaching another similar workshop for an even larger audience. So what I'm talking about here isn't just some basic information. It's based in experience. I drank alcohol for 24 years. 16 of that was at high risk, meaning I was drinking more than what was recommended or what is recommended by the CDC. Here's what's interesting. The way alcohol has evolved, now that we've got science involved, not like it's not always been there, but now that there are more studies coming out, Ireland, Canada, the United States all did independent studies about the benefits or the detriments of consuming alcohol. Doesn't matter if it's wine, if it's beer, if it's straight liquor, if it's mixed drink, it's all ethanol, which is another way of saying it's all poison. And it doesn't matter how you feel about it. Nope, switching from one to the other doesn't make it less damaging. As a matter of fact, I know people that black out just by switching the brand of liquor because their body has become so accustomed to a specific chemical experience, which is super crazy. But my point with all that is the CDC has come out. They've all come out through these independent studies and saying there are zero health benefits to consuming alcohol. Nope. But it's only, nope. Zero. As a matter of fact, there's not just zero health benefits. There are all poisonous results. It does not matter where you're consuming your ethanol. Ethanol is what you find in gasoline. If they wanted you to be health conscious, they would teach you from a very, very young age, probably in health class, that alcohol is a literal ethanol. You've never wondered why it lights on fire? Why do you think alcohol is such a commodity in post-apocalyptic movies? It's because it sets on fire. You can stay warm. You could ignite your engine of your vehicle. It's the same thing. Of course, gasoline has a different molecular and chemical concoction going on. So drinking straight gasoline, you'll die. You'll just straight up. That's bad times, right? Bad times bear. But what if that ethanol tasted like strawberries? Oh my goodness. It's not so bad, huh? The hangover is kind of worth it because it tasted like berries. That is the illusion. That's what they've been selling everybody. And that's how they've kind of got us all wrapped around escapism, right? Is it really poisonous if you can't feel it? If you're numb to the pain that it's causing, does it even matter? If the pains are solved by the thing that's causing it, how long can you actually go? Super interesting. There's people that are going to drink alcohol every single day for 90 years, and they're not going to have any major discrepancies, at least to the point where alcohol becomes completely irrelevant. But they are going to live a life that could have been better. That's just the truth. This is just the science, man. I don't care if you drink, dude. I don't care if you party. I don't care if you get faded or wasted, dude. I don't care if you get banana sandwiches, man. I care if you care about yourself. And the more you care about yourself, the less you're going to consume. Happy, healthy people do not overconsume anything. When they say everything in moderation, we're talking about sugar too. We're talking about the news too. We're talking about that friend of yours too. We're talking about social media. We're talking about everything. Homeostasis in the body is going to impact your social balance, the balance in your relationships, the balance you have with yourself, the way you see you, the way you feel you, the way you perceive the world. So when we're taking little bits and pieces of things that are designed or have the potential of influencing our life in a more positive / optimistic way, we are way more likely to enjoy that place of sober. Okay. This goes back to the very beginning of what I was talking about. You were born sober, boo-boo. You were born sober. You were sober when you came out the hoo-ha, dude. You were sober until you fucked it up. I was sober until I fucked it up. The first time I fucked it up was at 8 years old, dude. Sorry for the cursing. I was 8. And then I was not sober for about 4 days because that's how long it takes for alcohol to process out of your body. But this is where the conundrum comes in. Everybody's going, I'll never be sober. I can't do it. Wrong. I don't know how. Yeah, you do. But stop. I can't. Yes, you can. But no, you're not the one that can't do it. I know it feels that way because it sucks. Because when you're not under the influence, your state of sober sucks. You know why? Because you've been poisoning your brain and body for X amount of time, and your body feels like crap. I'm not even talking about withdrawals or anything like that. And I got to throw this out there, dude. This is just my place to just like free rant, get it out there. Oh my God, dude. If you're afraid of withdrawals, it's because you've never had them before. 99% of the people that I've spoken to and a majority of the comments go like, I'm afraid if I stop drinking, I'm going to need medical assistance. But I heard about seizures, but my friend, he once passed out. But I have a high tolerance, and every goddamn excuse you could possibly imagine to continue poisoning themselves. And I'm sitting here going, have you ever had them before? No. That's why you're afraid of them. The people who have been through the withdrawals are very, very aware of what to expect, dude. They didn't go. It's very rare that you go into withdrawals with the fear of withdrawals. I can't remember a single time in all of my addiction. Keep in mind, I had a full-blown addiction for 2.5 years. What this means is I was a high-functioning alcoholic. No, that's not what you think it means. No, it doesn't mean I had a really high tolerance. I preferred to drink every single day. I always had alcohol around. I did it for years. And every time you saw me, I was drinking, and I drank to go to sleep, and I drank to curb my anxiety. And I also went to work and went to the store and got groceries and maintained relationships, and I was functioning. No, that's not what high functioning means. High functioning means you literally cease to function. Your engine ceases to fire. Think of it like your vehicle. You got no gas. If the gas isn't in the engine, you don't go anywhere. So a high functioning alcoholic is someone that literally has to have the fuel, has to have the alcohol in their veins and brain in order to function. It's another way of saying without it, there's no functionality or minimal functionality. This is dependency. This is addiction. This is alcoholic. That's literally what it is. Moving forward onto that, back to withdrawals. Most people, at least the people that I've spoken to, keep in mind, I've helped over 15,000 people personally, okay, with my programs, with just the website alone. Thousands of people are currently in the Beyond Sober program, actively working on their graduation certificate of completion, okay? A majority of the people I've worked with kept drinking for years out of fear of the withdrawals. They never had them. They never had them. They never had the withdrawals they continued drinking for. They used that as a primary excuse on why they needed to continue doing what they were doing. It's another way of saying they felt safer in the problem. Remember, the root of addiction is safety. They want to feel safe. They are safer in the problem because it's predictable. They know what to expect. They know how to get through it. They know what to do. They know what to don't do. All of the things. And they go, this is what life is. Life is a series of problems that I solve with a drink. Or my life is impacted by not having a drink and I'd rather have one. So I'm going to, oh, look, life is better. Not true. That's the delusion. That is the discrepancy. That is the misinformation. That is the lie that we're sold through the liquor itself. That's it literally rewriting our neural pathways and seeking itself. Dude, I gotta throw it out there, dude. Never once when I had an addiction was I afraid of the withdrawals. There's anxiety associated with it for sure. That's expected. Absolutely. The anxiety is part of your life, but it's also a withdrawal symptom. So when I was drinking 1 shot, 2 shots per hour, dude, I wasn't afraid of the withdrawals. I expected them. I knew they were going to be there. And more importantly, the reason I'm so passionate about these things is because the withdrawals that most people are afraid of are the withdrawals that I had from hour to hour for years and years. The shakes, the sweats, the anxiety, the fears, the stomach, the nausea, right? The brain fog, the ammonia in your skull, man, the double vision, all of the DTs, man. I was curbing that while experiencing it for years, man, for years. And people think that just because they have a high tolerance, the DTs are going to set in, the withdrawals are going to set in, they're going to immediately have a seizure, dude. They're going to go into the worst hangover they've ever had, all because they've been drinking for 10 years. All because they think that what they're doing is because they're an alcoholic. I'm going to say this, dude, you're not. You're not. You're not an alcoholic. You're acting like one, though. You're pretending like you are one. You've adopted the identity, that's for sure. You keep saying you are, therefore you act as such. Everyone you're listening to is confirming that belief, therefore you are making it true. If you're an alcoholic, you have to drink, right? You don't have a choice. That's the interesting part about alcoholic. Do you think alcoholics want to drink, dude? Do you think that's something they enjoy? Is that your definition? Is people that like to drink a lot, people that have a high tolerance, people that drink every day, people that party often, people that get drunk, people that black out. Is that what an alcoholic is? Is that alcoholism? They might be on the isms, but that's not alcoholic. Alcoholics don't want to drink, dude. They don't want to. Why? That's proof that they can't manage their own life. They literally cannot move forward in life without relying on a literal poison that makes it better and worse at the same time. Alcoholics are not idiots, dude. They're not some zombies walking around. They are some of the most intelligent and highly intuitive and emotional human beings you will ever meet in your entire life, man. And the prison that they find themselves in through a state of survival fueled by safety, dude, most people couldn't survive that. They wouldn't survive that. They would never consciously put themselves there. And it's because of a series of circumstances where alcohol became the mechanism where they could survive their own emotions, own feelings. Now, a lot of people like to go, Oh yeah, every alcoholic it's because of their trauma. You you do you have any idea how many people I've met that called themselves an alcoholic and had zero trauma? Trauma is not even close to the primary reason why people drink, dude. People drink because they're drinking. Like no joke. This is one of the main things. People that don't have trauma are causing trauma with every sip. Therefore, the trauma that's happening to their brain and their body and their energy and their soul is so immense that it's only solved by the thing that's wrecking it. That's dependency, dude. The thing I'm using to escape the pain is also the thing that's causing it, right? Gabor says it like this. What is addiction? He says, doing or consuming a specific substance, even though it's making your life more difficult. That kind of taps into it's a conscious decision. I knew for a fact that when I was drinking, that I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. Absolutely. I also knew who I was trying to reach. I was trying to reach this guy. I was trying to be the guy to tell you to not do what I did. Don't follow in my footsteps. Don't think I'm cool. I'm not the cool guy, dude. I actually believed, and I was talking about this on a webinar the other day, I believed I was the chosen one because of the amount of actual trauma that I experienced prior to, developing a dependency or practicing alcoholic behavior in my teens through adulthood. I thought I was the chosen one. I thought that because of my ability to suffer and because of my ability to accept pain, because of my ability to process turmoil, that I was chosen via the universe to take on the pains so the rest of the world didn't have to. God damn, that's narcissistic. Oh my God, holier than now, dude. Alcohol will do that to you. This is, it'll do that to you, dude. Dude, psychosis, man. But with all of that said, the reason I say this is there's so much misinformation that's being spread every single day, dude. And I don't know if I've just evolved past this and it's just this second nature thing that I've recognized that there's coach after coach after coach after coach. My whole feed is full of brand new sober coaches that literally cannot define what sober is. I'm that guy, dude. I could care less. Come get me. I'm going to ask you what it means. No, I don't want your definition. I don't want a definition. I want you to tell me what sober is. If you don't know what it is, and you're calling yourself a sober coach, dude, you are doing so much more damage than not. Dead serious with this. And I got people attacking me in my messages too. How dare you judge me? What do you mean judge you? I asked you what sober is and you couldn't answer it for me. I asked you what your definition of sobriety is and you went on some random tangent. All y'all right here don't know what you're talking about. You're going to lead people through this very, very generic, basic, cut and paste, just textbook, flatlined YouTube video platform or whatever you want to call it. And people are not going to grow. They're not going to get to the core. And no, I'm not talking about the why. The why you drink doesn't matter, dude. I work with people every single day, dude. I'm taking a break from my calendar right now. I actually have a meeting in just a little bit. I'm taking a break from all that to record this for you, right? To get this off my chest, man. The why doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the why. Understanding why you drink, how you got here, doesn't change a single thing. Your understanding of what transpired to lead you to making specific decisions doesn't help you make new ones. And people think there's so many sober coaches out here going like, I'm going to help you break your habits. That's not how it works. You don't break habits. They break themselves. How do you do that? You, first off, got to recognize what is a habit. Do you know what it is? Do you know what a habit is? Can you tell the difference between a habit that you've picked up and a practice? How do you know it's a habit and not something that you're consciously practicing? Dude, if you can't tell the difference between those two things, you have no business trying to guide people through sobriety. You know why? Because sobriety isn't real. If you don't grasp these concepts, you are attempting to sober your own life through helping others. That's AA, bro. That's a sponsor. If you want to be a sponsor for someone else, dude, just be a sponsor. Sober coach is a totally different realm because it has nothing to do with being sober. It has nothing to do with that. Recovery is the only focus. This is why I've labeled myself just for the public as a recovery specialist, dude. I did it myself. I've done it with countless people, dude. I've helped people recover in real time, holding their hands, shedding the tears, literally in the physical space, man. I watch people melt every single day and finally have breakthroughs. Am I special? No. I know what I'm talking about, dude. I got books that bring people to tears. Am I special? No. I know what I'm talking about. This is all I do. And because I see all of this just like trending attempts at authenticity, it's just saturated with more toxicity. I'm telling you, man, I would rather, this is going to sound like super harsh, dude. I'd rather you drink through all this crap. There's so many people attempting to find themselves through helping others. And I think about this and I go like, I wonder if that's how I was when I first started this, whatever this is. You got to remember, dude, I never intended on helping a single person with alcoholism, addiction, anything like that. Hell, what? Absolutely not. I was embarrassed, dude. I'm building my companies. I'm building YouTube channels, man. I'm a felon. I lost my house, car, job, money, friends, dude, family. Everything that I worked for, my career of 16 years, gone. I have an ankle bracelet. You see what I'm saying? Everything is gone. For me to get into the digital space and start talking to people randomly and saying that I am an alcoholic in recovery, hey, buy my stuff, that's bananas. I'm building businesses. At that time, I was working on mindset, dude. I'm building my own mindset, building my body up. I'll go into details on another episode on what I had to do to heal my body and my brain. But the point is I never really noticed. I never really saw how bad things were outside my own bubble. And then I started working with people, working with professionals, people that had a lot of money, people that wanted to spend a lot of money with me, people that were helping me get off the ground. And they're talking about alcohol. They're talking about how they drink. And I'm sitting here going like, damn, bro. I used to do that same shit. But I did it harder and I did it faster and I did it longer than you. But interestingly enough, you're doing the exact same things that I did that led me to liver failure. Interesting. And then I started to recognize that the most successful people that I've ever met have some of the most hardcore substance issues. I started to realize that the people with the millions and the billions are the most miserable people I've ever met in my entire life. They've got, not all of them. There's a reason their friends and family don't talk to them. There's a reason why the only people that they know are other people that are just as miserable as they are. Other people with millions of dollars. The judgment, this self just loathing. It's insane. And I learned that the more money you have, the more misery comes along with it. Super crazy, dude. Money doesn't fix anything. And no, money doesn't make people happy. It reveals them. It may pull some stress off of you, but who do you want to be? Do you want to be someone that is, equally hating on yourself that actually has $1 million? Or do you want to be someone that has, a safe, steady income that loves every second of the day? I will give up everything I have for my happiness, 100%, dude. But I'm also going to fight for it at the same time. Now, with all of that said, dude, there's just so much toxicity that is rounding this recovery space, man. And I've been doing this for years, dude. And I never thought, and keep in mind, going back to how I even got here, dude, I just started seeing kids on TikTok just shotgunning Mountain Dews, shotgunning Capri Suns. These kids are 6 years old on the beach. Why do you know this behavior? And why are your parents laughing? That's not funny, dude. It's really not. And this is before I had, I was like a parent. I don't have kids of my own, but I'm a very, very proud step guardian. With that, man, just seeing how society is just normalizing alcoholic behavior, even if there's no alcohol in it. Oh yeah, by the way, everything is not alcoholic if there's no alcohol in it. And just allowing it to happen. Nobody's really stopping it. Keep in mind, I was on TikTok, bored during COVID, and then I saw the don't make a face challenge. And I'm like, not making a face when you drink tequila is what I did to impress people in an attempt to convince them that I didn't have a problem. I was so good at drinking alcohol that I didn't make a face. There's no such thing as being good at drinking alcohol. But I was delusional. And I never admitted that I was an alcoholic, never admitted that I had an addiction. One time I admitted that I definitely had a problem, possibly a dependency, but I never allowed myself to adopt the identity of alcoholic. Once I saw those videos, I released my own. I stitched that video and showed pictures of my liver failure, dude. And I was like, this is what yellow looks like. This is what struggling looks like. This is what happens if you keep pretending like what you're doing isn't damaging to your life. If you keep acting the way an alcoholic does, you're going to get what alcoholics get. People don't know what drink is going to push them over the edge. People think that just because they don't have a problem, they won't. People practice these behaviors ignorantly. They don't know any better. But people are being stupid. The difference between ignorance and stupidity, ignorance, I don't know better. I don't know better. So I do what I know, and what I know is stupid. Okay, cool. I get that. I can give you a break on that. Stupidity is knowing what you're doing, and knowing what you're doing is technically wrong, and doing it anyway. That's stupid. So with all this stupidity that's out there, that's just circulating on social media, I just got this bug and I was like, let me show you what this does. And then I went viral. 9 million views. At this point, 9.9 million views. And my inbox was absolutely overloaded. Holy geez. 100,000 followers in that one video, dude. Thousands of messages in the inbox. Dude, it got mega viral. And I just realized that there were thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that think they're an alcoholic. Their dad just died. Their brother's in the hospital. Their cousin is struggling. Countless questions, dude. It was nonstop. That's why I had to build the Beyond Sober program. I had to record everything I knew, everything I did, all of my perspectives, all of the truths and all the realities, specifically the difficult ones, the ones that we've never been taught, the ones that I had to cry through, the ones that I had to do push-ups through. I had to put that into a program and then tell the world that it exists. And I feel bad because the majority of the people that initially started following me didn't even know that I created that for them. They may still be struggling to this day, which is why I continue showing up. I support the recovery community 100%. I want to see more practitioners. I want to see coaches. I want to see people supporting others at their core based on who they are, not what they're struggling with. That has been the depth of my entire movement, whether you're following RAIN, whether you're supporting the Beyond Sober movement, dude, whether you're a member of Unlabeled Recovery, whether you have the book, whether you're just a follower on one of my social media accounts, dude, I'm speaking to you, the real you, the person that you're afraid to share. That's the only version of you that I care about. And that's why I'm good at what I do. It's because I'm sitting with you and I'm seeing through the story that you're telling me, dude. I am seeing through the nuances that are being left. I am painting a completely different narrative on your behalf and reflecting it to you in real time. I'm helping you see yourself as not a survivor, as a goddamn warrior, dude. You've survived every single thing that's ever happened to you, and you're going to do that until the day you die. To assume that you don't have the strength to focus forward, take care of yourself, and heal is insane. You've already done the work, dude. You've already cried. You've already struggled. You already poisoned yourself. You've already shed the tears, man. You've already felt the feelings. You've already had the conversations. You've already been in the relationships. You've learned everything you don't want. Why are you continuing to pretend like you don't have what it takes to recover? It's not based in logic. It's based in fear. Because who are you if you don't have the problem? Who are you when you're not surviving anymore? Who are you when the purpose of getting to the next day has been removed? Who are you when your nervous system is completely regulated and you're not afraid of the front door? Who are you when you're completely 100% responsible for your health and happiness? Who are you when you don't give yourself permission to blame anyone but you? If you've never been that person, then it probably makes sense why you want to stay where you are. Because you're safe there. The familiar pain, the familiar discrepancies, the familiar lifestyle, even though you don't like it, you have purpose, the sense of purpose in surviving it. But I'm telling you this, dude. You are your purpose. Your purpose isn't in the survival. Your purpose expands and you become more aware as you start thriving. Thriving is a totally different conversation. It's a totally different conversation. And the reason is when you're surviving, when you've been surviving, when you think life is something you have to survive, and you start finding all these reasons why you don't have what it takes, you're not going to have the opportunity, it's not in the cards for you, while you're too far gone, you've done too much damage, you don't have the right support. When you keep doing all those things, right? When you're in that space, thriving, having all the money you could ever possibly need, eating all the best foods that you could afford, even the inexpensive ones that do wonders for your body, being surrounded with people that actually fuel your success. There's no jealousy, there's no bitterness, there's no subconscious desires. Nobody is talking down to the next person. There's no hierarchy at all. You're surrounded by love and light and compassion and understanding. Everything that's in your life is fueling your success, and you can do no wrong because of what you've done and what you're doing. Who are you when everything's going your way? I had to learn this. I had to learn the very hard way that the reason why I had nothing is because I wasn't capable of hanging on to it. I wasn't someone that could maintain what I earned. I was lying, I was cheating, I was stealing, I was manipulating. Those people very rarely get to hang on to everything that they acquired. It takes a healthy person. It takes someone that's focused on their health. It takes someone that's curious about what they're capable of to be able to obtain things that they're willing to invest energy into in order to maintain. Your body is number one. Your brain is number one. You are number one. It is not selfish to take care of yourself, man. It is recommended. It is necessary. You have to. If you don't, you suffer. And that sucks. You don't have to suffer. And you're allowed to be happy even when things aren't going your way. Well, just stubbed my toe. I literally accidentally dropped 2 burgers all over me last night. Dude, the dog ate my burgers, bro. I spent so much time researching. Dude, I thought about this thing for days, bro. For days. I want a burger. I want to try it like this. I want to do a smash burger. I'm going to do onions. I'm going to do all this stuff. Oh, okay, all right. What do I need? Do I have this? Oh my God, the meat is rotten. I'll just go with turkey. Go with turkey. What? Why does this feel like slime? Okay, well, it's not rotten, so I'll use this. And then boom, boom, boom. I'm mixing all this stuff together. And I make all these sauces, do all these things, and I get it on the pan. And I smash these things down, the parchment paper. Everything's going good. Burgers look a little weird, starting to smell real good. I finally get everything cooked, dude, and I put it on the plate without realizing that half of the plate was hanging off the edge of the cutting board. And when I put the bun on the top, man, it just, boom, it just hit the ground, dude. All my secret sauce just splattered all over me, dude. And I had to eat those. I'm not lying to you. I scooped the onions with the tomatoes and put it back on the burger. I ate it anyway. I'm gross like that. I made it. I cleaned my floors. It's just a little bit of dirt. Okay. The bugs didn't get me. I'm committed to eating healthy foods, dude. Life happens. That didn't disrupt my whole day. I had like 4 seconds of being, oh my God, what the holy, and that's, okay. All right. Boom. Got into it. Ate it anyway. It's just like life. Life is going to consistently drop itself on the floor, dude. But who are you when you pick it up? You can be the same old person, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, doing the same things, wishing for the same stuff. Or are you going to think new thoughts, practice feeling new feelings, taking on a new identity and doing new things? If you continue doing what you've always done, you're going to continue getting what you've always got. If you want to do and you want to receive new things, you have to do new things, man. That's what recovery is. Now, that was just a whole long-winded rant. Keep in mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't have any plans. I don't know what I was going to say. I just showed up and I was like, actually what I was thinking is going through a couple questions right here on TikTok. So this inbox here, keep in mind, I have 600,000 followers on TikTok, 200 and coming up on 230 on Facebook, 45,000 on Lemonade, dude, 30,000 on Instagram. Dude, I'm all over the place, dude. I'm coming up on 11,000 on YouTube, all with the same content. Now, here's what I want to do is I'm going to go through and answer as I kind of wind down and answer a couple of these questions, right? This is actually a response to a video that I just posted that sobriety isn't a thing and sober is the inevitable result of you pretending like you give a shit. If you care about yourself, dude, you're going to consume less poison. The result, the inevitable, whether you like it or not, is a state of sober. It's not stepping into sobriety. So this gentleman here says, if sober gets an alcoholic sober for 40 years, how is that a bad thing? It's not. It's not. If sober or talking about sobriety or placing yourself in a space called sobriety gets an alcoholic sober for 40 years, how is that a bad thing? It is not. The point of that is all you are sober? At what point are you beyond it? At what point is it completely irrelevant for you to even mention sober? Keep in mind, the only reason I mention sober is so you could say it less. I am not sober, dude. I don't identify as a sober person. This is what sobriety is. This is like the definition if you were to wrap it up or I don't even know how else to say it. Sobriety, in my terms, is people living an alcohol-free life but identifying as a sober person. You know you can live an alcohol-free life without identifying as a sober person? That's what I do. When people ask me if I'm sober, I'm not, dude. Read my name, Beyond Sober. What's the name of this podcast? Beyond Sober. People don't even get it, which is why I keep showing up. So the point with this is I don't care how you get sober. It only takes 4 days, dude. If you got to go play with kittens, dude, on a mountaintop, dude, blowing bubbles, do it. Do it for a few days, dude. Your body is going to do what it's designed to do, regardless of the amount of damage that you cause, and you'll be clinically sober between 4 and 5 days, bro. You can't get more sober than sober. Sober is sober, dude. Just because you've been sober for 40 years, you're not more sober than me. You're not more sober than anybody else, dude. When there's no alcohol in your bloodstream, you're sober. And if you're 100% sober, no alcohol in your bloodstream, at 4 to 5 days, you're going to have the exact same amount of alcohol in your brain and body if you choose not to intoxicate yourself until you die. Nobody is more sober than anyone else. They're just not. It's not science. It's not biology. It's not true. So going back to that question, how is that a bad thing? It's not, dude. Do whatever you got to do. Here's something else. There's this woman who continues to comment on my videos. Like, why does my crush not want my support? It's because it doesn't work. Because I don't think he likes you. Honestly, I don't think he likes you. Like, why won't he answer my calls? He's in rehab. He's in this detox center. Why won't he come back to me? Blah, blah. He doesn't want to. If you continue doing this, you may be a trigger for him to drink or to party or to get away. Maybe he's enjoying his time in rehab or wherever he is. Yes, the people that are in rehab are sad. They're not going to be out here reaching out to you every single day. They got rules and regulations and regimens and things that they got to do, dude. My point is your love doesn't mean you're going to get an automatic response from someone who's struggling. As a matter of fact, if you really care about somebody who's already taken care of themselves, support them where they are. Don't try and shift their attention. Don't try and get them out. Don't try and be involved where they're not involving you. This is how friends and family become like enablers, dude, and they actually drive people back into drinking, dude. So there's a chance I got a liver failure, but I can heal from it. Currently day 2 for my last drink. Sakes. I'm not sure what that means. So what he's saying here This is on a video of me talking about recovery. Okay. So it's been 8 years since my last drink. I'm, I, people call me an anomaly. People that have stage 4 cirrhosis like I did, they very rarely live past 1 year because that's just before end stage. And more importantly, people that are diagnosed with that usually just go back to drinking and they just damage their liver. So this gentleman is going, so there's a chance. He's basically saying, so you're showing me that it's possible to live a happy, healthy life, even though you have liver damage or cirrhosis or ascites or all those things. And the answer is yes, 100%. If you or someone you know right now is struggling with healing your body, of course, I could talk about spirituality and energetics and quantum physics and all the things, but that's a whole different conversation. I got a book coming out about that stuff. But go to beyondsoberpro.com or hit the link on Spotify or wherever you could find beyondsober.org. Okay. In the menu bar, you're going to see nutrition. In nutrition, I'm going to give you free food. Okay. I have hundreds of dollars of free food provided by Every Plate. I built a whole page to give you free food, all the same food that I eat, all the foods that I've been eating for years. It's free food, dude. I think I have like $105 per person. So if you're even remotely interested, I believe it's beyondsober.org/nutrition. I don't care. It's in the menu bar. Look for it. But also, there is my nutrition guide. It is absolutely everything I've done to heal my body from the inside out, dude. Keep in mind, I was bright yellow, bro. Bright yellow. Bilirubin levels of a 30.6. Now I'm beige and I got this tan that won't go away. Goodness gracious. But your body will heal. Happy people or people that are focusing on their health and happiness, they heal faster. And the reason they heal faster is because there's less stress in the body. There's less energetic discrepancies, and therefore their body has an easier time doing what it's designed to do. You can heal some of the most insane problems. No, that doesn't mean Wolverine. No, that doesn't mean that you're going to heal faster in the sense of like healing a physical wound. It means that if you practice on your fitness, your nutrition, your sleep, your water, your food, basically living a healthy lifestyle, your body has a better chance at recovering permanently. I know this because I'm a living example. When doctors look at me, they go like, dude, we would never tell that you've ever had a sip of alcohol. Your liver looks fine. You've got some scars and stuff. There's nothing here that is even worth worrying about. So I say that to go, I don't care if you're not drinking alcohol. I don't care if you are drinking alcohol. I don't care if you have substances or you're off of them. Your number one priority is your health. You have no other purpose. No, it is not in starting a school in Zimbabwe. No, it is not anything other than being as healthy as you possibly can so you can experience what you call life. Life is just the chemical cocktail inside your body. When you're happy and you got more dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins, life, the same exact circumstances that you're in right now, ain't so bad. So when you focus on your health and your nutrition in general, life or you feel better. That's the point. That is the only thing that needs your attention. With that, let me see. The last thing here, I'm going to just find one more comment. Maybe not, man. Spleen pain besides not drinking. That's interesting. Here's a trip. And I'll tell you this, man. I own a company. I don't know if you can see this on the back of my hat right here. It says Drink Water. If you go to DRNKWATR, drinkwater.com, you can buy Drinkwater gear. It's the elixir of survivors. And we're going to say 80% of the ailments and the situations that people find themselves in when it comes to physical pain has something to do with water. You don't drink enough water, dude. I promise you. Hopefully you're the anomaly. Hopefully you're the one that goes, oh yeah, I drink every day, half my body weight in ounces. Me personally, I'm 170 pounds, right? So I drink 80, 90 ounces of water. That's just being hydrated, okay? Now that is just a goal. Most people don't consume more than like 16 ounces a day if they drink water. Coincidentally, that's the exact lubrication all your organs need to function appropriately. So do you have side pains? You're not running marathons? Got it. It's a water issue. Do your kidneys hurt? Do you keep going, oh, my back? It's a water issue, okay? Do you have a headache? Have you had migraines for a while? Is your mood a little sideways, okay? Is your diet a little messed up? Do you find yourself being a little testy? It's water, bro. It is a water problem. Drink your water. And if you need a reminder, dude, go to beyondsoberclothing.com, look for drink water. Get a sticker, get a water bottle, dude. Dude, you know what I'm saying? With that said, I'm going to wrap up here. I got to get this new iPad set up so I can make even more content for you. Goodness gracious, it never ends. Shout out to Antonella. Thank you so much for inviting me to Italy. Thank you for seeing me for who I am. Thank you for recognizing what I was saying far beneath the typical topics that you're usually going to see. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to communicate from my soul and impact as many people as I was able to. I'm so excited to be working with you. I'm so thankful to be in the public speaking circuit. I'm so excited to be in Greece. I'm so excited to link my friends and family. Emily's going to show up. You're going to melt. Our next episode will probably be with her. It's going to be super duper fun. With that said, if you haven't shared your information with me and you are still listening, I want you to go to beyondsober.org, get the recovery guide. It is absolutely free, dude. It is everything that you need to take care of yourself and step into a state beyond just sober, okay? There's no charge for that stuff. Feel free to reach out to me, Cody at beyondsober.org or Cody at rvyne.com, rvyne.com. Feel free to contact me. Feel free to book me. Feel free to follow. I appreciate you. Let's stay connected off Spotify and Apple and TikTok. Let's continue building these communities together and helping each other evolve into the next higher version of ourselves. With that said, I appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll see you next time.